being spiritually aware. Now, we have to understand that we have to be those that fix our perspective. We have to be those that fix our perspective. If we don't, things will break down. I have a friend of mine named Mike, and we were talking about this idea of elevators. Now, Mike, he's a professional and works with elevators, and you think about people taking an elevator. We lived at the top of a building in Egypt. We lived on the 12th floor, and so we would take an elevator all day, every day. Thank you, Jesus, for the people that made elevators. When you live on the 12th floor, you are so very thankful for elevators. And I was talking about the idea of fixing those things, and he gave me some insights into it. Yesterday, we were talking about it with a friend about the Eiffel Tower, and we were talking about how the Eiffel Tower is a beautiful thing, but if you go to the top of the Eiffel Tower, almost everybody takes the elevator because it's a lot of stairs. And I've taken the stairs a few times at the Eiffel Tower, the second stage down, and I tell you, friends, it's a lot. It's a lot of stairs. And that's why everybody takes the elevator. But there has been a few times when we would take, and lived in Paris, we would take teams to the Eiffel Tower, and some of these funiculaires, some of these elevators, they would break. And I remember they would break, and people would be stuck up in the Eiffel Tower. And a few brave souls would decide, you know what? I'm just going to walk. It's not that far. And you would see them, and it was hilarious. You'd see them like start with all this gusto, and then suddenly they realized how many stairs they were having to go down. And it was a problem, because when they finally got to the bottom, it was like they almost wanted to kiss the ground, right? They're like, oh, but don't do that. It's really gross at the bottom of the Eiffel Tower. But I mean, they were like, they finally got there. But you think about this idea of elevators, and it's the same concept of our view, because you can tweak it for a while. I was talking to Mike about fixing elevators. He said, a lot of technicians, they'll tweak it, and it'll kind of work, and then they'll leave it alone. They're like, it's working. It's not perfect. It's kind of working. And it'll go up, and it'll go down, and it'll break again. And then they kind of tweak it a little bit more, and it'll go up and down and break, and people get stuck on it, and then it happens again and again and again. And he said this, we tweak it, it works for a bit, but it gets further out of calibration. What you have to do is bring it all the way back to factory settings. To factory settings. And I like that whenever we're talking about our mentality with Jesus. As we look at Jesus and who he was, what did he do? He went and spent time with the Father. He spent time in prayer. He spent time as one intentional in his mindset. And so for us, as those who follow Jesus, that is our factory setting. Our factory setting is to be those who spend time with Jesus. In fact, we use this image about walking with Jesus all the time. And we use it all the time because we are people on a journey with Christ. None of us are perfect. All of us have made mistakes. All of us are becoming more like Jesus. None of us is finished. We're all on a journey with Christ. And because we have to keep going. And that is our factory setting, is to be connected with Christ. See, what happens is we start to tweak it a little bit. Like, my life's not going so great. Maybe I'll try a little bit of this. 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 And everything's broken still. And we're realizing that the way with Jesus is over there. Has anyone ever been there? And so that's why we need to realign ourselves back with what Jesus wants to do in our lives and who we are called to be as Christ followers.